What's going on, everybody? What's going on? So, greetings, salutations. This is another video regarding this smart contract that's written on the Ethereum blockchain, DG.io, Ethereum Gold, also known as OX167, also known as Gold Chip. Also, I believe you could also access this contract with a backup link, and that's in GitHub. But people, you know, there's so much to be said about this contract, and you know what, there's so many good things to be said, more than anything else about this contract. Again, incredible. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. But one of the things I wanted to speak about in this video, if you don't mind, is when this is a decentralized contract, okay? And in the spirit of decentralization, we have to understand that this contract cannot be turned off. Anything short of something completely shutting down the Ethereum network, this contract will last. It will just continue to work and go on for however long the Ethereum network exists. Okay? No one owns this contract. No one can manipulate this contract. No one can make any changes or alterations or updates of any sort in this contract. And this was done on purpose. There are no administrators on this contract. There's no CEO. Okay? There are no employees, there are no workers, no managers, no type of leadership in this contract. Everyone has access to it, and it's available for anyone and everyone involved. Everyone. Meaning, if you have the shadiest person can get into this contract, and then if you have those who are holier than thou can get into the contract too, and everyone in between. No matter what shape, size, color, age, gender, whatever. You know, when I hear that just because the Oracle got in this contract is why it's increased or it's pumped, it just shows me how limited scope that people have, and they allow, you know, I guess the differences that they have with people to sort of like block their opportunities or their chances to win or their chances to really earn in the crypto space. Again, anyone and everyone, you can't stop anyone from getting in the contract. You know, if the hackers who hacked into Mt. Gox got in the contract, it's their prerogative. If the creators of Cryptsy got into this contract, it's their prerogative. Cryptopia, the characters behind anything nefarious, OneCoin, they could get into this contract. If any crazy characters, the anonymous or shenanimous or one-anonymous, whatever, hidden figures behind BitConnect, if they got into this contract, they could get into this contract. And the list goes on. There's been a ton of hackers, a ton of scammers who have come and gone in the crypto space and who are still here and who will still continue to scam for as long as crypto exists. Scamming is not just limited to crypto, it's actually a part of life. People steal. Unfortunately, it's one of the ugly aspects of life that just is a truth. So you can't stop people just because people may have differences with the Oracle. And see, I don't like talking about people like that unless I'm trying to make a point, and in this case I am. I've seen Oracle because he's a YouTuber, and I just got the first video I saw with him was when he had a video with Ozzy the BS Filter back in August of 2017. And since then, he's been on a tear as far as YouTube, making his presence well known. There's been some wins and there's been some losses, but that's how we all who've been in crypto can relate. We've had some wins and we've had some losses. Along the way, he's garnered a certain reputation. Many people like him, and then there are those who don't like him. Okay, fine. So he gets into this contract, and because it's gone up, they think that outsiders who may not like him, they just think, oh, I'm not going to get into some contract that Oracle is in. And it's just that short-sighted type of thinking that blocks you from experiencing any earnings. I was in this contract before the Oracle jumped in the contract in September of 2019. I stayed in this contract, and I'm still in this contract to date. Oracle left in October 2019. So his next joining the contract again, he got back in June. So between October 2019 and June 2020, that's an 8-month lag. Earnings were still being made. People say it's slow and it's dead. Earnings were still being made with or without it, the Oracle's involvement. And when he returned, he even exclaimed in his videos, he made a mistake leaving the first time. Why? Because he understood how this contract works. He understood that this wasn't a get rich quick overnight situation. He understood that this contract that was not created by a developer who was going to drain the contract and rob everyone of their crypto, like many others have. He talks about, and it's true, the clone wars. The clone wars, there's such a ridiculous amount of clones, copycat, imitation clones that came in 2019 to model P3D or proof of weak hands and Gandhiji. It's unreal. You lose count. They've all dissolved. The one that's barely surviving is P3D, but they've all dissolved. And he's trying to educate people, whether you feel, however you feel. And I'm not an Oracle Wolfpack person. I just give respect where it's due. And that's what it's about. Give respect where respect is due. The man comes with a certain influence, and he has people who listen, and they just do what he does. That's a gift. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone can command, a crowd of people like he. That's just what it is. He came into the contract last year. The contract hit all-time highs. Sure, that could have been, something he brought as far as his effect and his influence. You can't defecate on the man for that. You can't defecate on anyone who wields a certain level of influence and control and power and tries to educate people all the way, throughout the whole process. We make mistakes. He's not a saint. I'm not a saint. No one is. But to judge the contract just because somebody's in it it means nothing. Because again, he jumped into it twice. The contract's been in existence 2+ years. So that whole Oracle, I'm not going to get into the contract because Oracle in it, it's buns. That's ass. I'm sorry. I have to say that. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's a limited, childish way of thinking. Childish way of thinking. Because as each day that goes by, this contract is growing. There are members in the community who don't know who he is. Who are just experiencing what the contract provides to everyone involved. People don't like Sunny. Again, it's that personal thing that folks have. Whatever it is. It's not about, the contract works whether you like somebody or whether you don't. It's void of any feelings. It's void of any types of whatever ill will and animosity you may have to somebody. It doesn't care. This is about mathematics and code. Buy the math. That's why I always say that. Buy into the math. Forget about what this thing is working. If Sunny just walked away, Sunny's the developer of this contract. If he just turned his back and walked away, it doesn't matter. The contract will still provide earnings, stakes, rewards, it will still continue to work. Many developers have created faulty, scammy projects, and those contracts are still running, but there's no volume, and people have lost their crypto. How many contracts have you seen that if you don't know code, you're susceptible and vulnerable, because in the code, for those who can read code, can find a nuance that's written in the code to take all the crypto, a backdoor, some type of method or mechanism that exists in the code that can drain the contract and leave everyone who's in the contract at a loss. It's about being disciplined. It's about exercising some patience here. That's what it's about. And being mature in your choices, in what you're doing. People will continue to lose. Fortunately, instead of, pretty much throwing rocks at a project because you don't like a person who created the project, or you don't like a person who's in the project, your Ethereum is going to be, your Ethereum will increase whether or not, it doesn't matter. This contract will still produce and stake Ethereum. Do you understand that this contract has been staking Ethereum before Ethereum 2.0 has been launched? It's been doing it for the past 2+ years, where you don't have to lock your ETH like they're trying to propose with the Ethereum Alliance. They're saying that you have to have 32 ETH locked that you cannot use in order to stake Ethereum for a 10 to 17% return per year. You don't have to do that with this contract here. No one has gotten scammed. You know how many people in crypto have the label scam, being known as scammers? You know how hard it is, and folks, remember, it's a stain that they have in their reputation, that they have to work 3 times harder to recover. There are people that will always be known for scams, that's attached to scams. Don't make that mistake when you find a contract like this that no one can hack, that's been through hackathons, that's had prizes worth $2 million for anyone who can hack the contract, and they have been unsuccessful. So what does that tell you? What does that say? Is this really a scam? Again, you have your earnings. Every day is not going to be the same. Again, you have months where the contract is just moving. It's moving. It's not going increasing very high. It's not decreasing very high. It's just basically moving at a level, flat, right, across. And then you have these hyper moments where people triple, multiple, quadruple, 5x, 10x, 15x their earnings in a safe, comfortable way, doing nothing. But y'all worried about because somebody got in the contract that, oh, I want nothing to do with it, because it's not. Anyone who deals with the dollar bill, you think you could, decide who can use the dollar or not? All kinds of characters deal with fiat currency. So the thinking is flawed in that sense. So because, you have all kinds of nefarious, shadiest characters in the world dealing with fiat, why don't you use that type of thinking with them? Now, I'm not going to touch this dollar bill because, murderers, killers, etc., deal with that. Makes sense when you speak. Makes sense. Makes sense when you think. Don't follow the crowd of closed-minded individuals. Because there are many out there who are like that, who are still hung up and their butt hurt. This contract right here has brought results. Irrespective of your feelings and your mood and attitude, it doesn't matter. It's void of that. All it'll do is produce earnings, staking, Ethereum, where you can even convert it to BTC or whatever you like. The choice is yours.